The world's attention was focused on London as Queen Elizabeth's funeral took place, with huge crowds gathered in the capital to witness the huge state event as Prime Minister Liz Truss, former Prime Ministers including Boris Johnson, and world leaders including US President Joe Biden, took their seats in Westminster Abbey. As the Queen's coffin was carried into Westminster Abbey, the Princess of Wales walked alongside her husband, Prince William, and their two children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Catherine stood out in a wide black hat and veil that matched the rest of her dress. But it was her choice of accessories that drew the eye, with her wearing two pieces that once belonged to her grandmother-in-law to pay tribute to the late monarch. Princess Catherine arrived at the service in the Bahrain pearl drop earrings and 4-strand pearl choker with center diamond clasp, both from the Queen's personal collection. Catherine arrived at Westminster Abbey in a car with the Queen consort and her children, Prince George, 9, and Princess Charlotte, 7, who were on their best behavior despite the enormity of the occasion. After the service, which was attended by 2,000 mourners including foreign monarchs, dignitaries and heads of state, the Princess of Wales and her children joined the Duchess of Cornwall in a car for the procession past Buckingham Palace to Wellington Arch. She provided a comforting hand and reassuring word to her young children when they needed it, but otherwise remained solemn throughout proceedings. The Princess of Wales, who inherited her new title on the death of Her Majesty the Queen, has been a pillar of strength for her husband as he steps up to embrace the role of Prince of Wales in the wake of his grandmother's death. In the past week, the pair has made several public appearances, including one at Sandringham where they thanked supporters for their encouragement. Prince Andrew, Princess Anne, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the Earl and Countess of Wessex, and the Prince and Princess of Wales all participated in the moving procession, along with King Charles III and the Queen consort. After leaving the Abbey, the royal family rode in a car behind the casket as it was transported down the Mall to Buckingham Palace. Catherine was joined by her children and Camilla. The princess, who has been busy with several events this week, kept her composure as she reassured her children in front of the cameras and the 2,000 mourners who had gathered in the Abbey to pay their respects. The two young royals, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, were handed their own copy of the Order of Service and could be seen following along by turning the pages. After more than a week of leading the monarchy and the nation in grieving his mother the Queen, King Charles III sat at the head of the family with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex nearby. The Archbishop of Canterbury has described the Queen as having touched a multitude of lives and being a joyful figure for many, in his sermon at her state funeral. With the grieving royal family sitting nearby and thousands of mourners filling London streets, Justin Welby said the outpouring of emotion arises from her abundant life and loving service, now gone from us. Mr. Welby echoed the Queen's reassuring words from her lockdown address to the nation, when he told the Westminster Abbey congregation that all who follow her example and her faith in God can with her say, "We will meet again." Mr. Welby, standing in the church where kings and queens have been crowned since 1066, told the mourners, "People of loving service are rare in any walk of life. Leaders of loving service are still rarer. But in all cases those who serve will be loved and remembered when those who cling to power and privileges are forgotten." The grief of this day, felt not only by the late Queen's family but all round the nation, Commonwealth and world, arises from her abundant life and loving service, now gone from us. She was joyful, present to so many, touching a multitude of lives. The Archbishop ended his sermon by telling the congregation, "We will all face the merciful judgment of God. We can all share the Queen's hope which in life and death inspired her servant leadership. Service in life, hope in death. All who follow the Queen's example, an inspiration of trust and faith in God, can with her say, 'We will meet again.'" Countess of Wessex was seen wiping away a tear, and Princess Beatrice appeared to be overcome with emotion at one point during the service. A handwritten card that looked to have been written by the King himself was placed on top of a floral wreath that included foliage from the grounds of Buckingham Palace, Clarence House, and Highgrove. King Charles III was moved to tears by the state funeral, and hundreds of thousands of people lined the road from Westminster Abbey. As the funeral procession made its way through Whitehall, through the Cabinet War Rooms, the Cenotaph, and Downing Street, the crowds dispersed into silence. People in black began to file out of windows and balconies, while others stood on the street with their necks craned and cameras in hand, waiting for their chance to see the king one last time. The parade is led by members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and it continues with Maltese, ex-Royal Ulster Constabulary, and 4 National Health Service officials who are all recipients of the George Cross.